Namaskar. We are sure your Diwali was full of laughter, fun, and togetherness. Let the celebrations continue with our extended Diwali offer. It's your last chance to get your copy of the book and pen drive at half price till 31st October. Place your order at vedantavision.org and share Jayaji's inspiration with your loved ones. Now, we will conclude Bhagavad Gita chapter 4.
ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
So we were on verse 34 where the verse gives the qualifications of a student and the qualifications of a guru, a teacher. So last time we saw qualifications of a student are number 1, pranipatena, means you have to surrender. You must have this spirit of surrender. Number 2, surrender does not mean blind belief, question, prashna. You as a student have the authority to ask questions. And in fact, the entire scriptures, right from the Upanishads downwards, is a question and answer session. It's not the guru sitting there and holding forth. In fact, all the Upanishads begin with a question by the student. The guru does not speak until it is drawn out by the student. Okay? So, the student approaches with an attitude of surrender, but questions where he doesn't understand. And when he benefits from both of this, the learning, very important is seva, service. Not just to the guru, but you must be service minded. You know? It's like you see, once, many years ago, I was catching a flight to Delhi, and it so happened that we were transported in a bus to the aircraft. And we got delayed for some reason. So I was standing, and a few people were there in front of me, and then there was Mr. Adi Godrej. By even then, he must have been in his 80s, he was quite old. And he was standing. Everyone else was complaining, making a noise, because we were made to stand there for quite some time. Now, service mindedness would mean if a younger person had a seat, to get up and offer the seat to this elderly gentleman. Don't you think so? Nobody got up. And I was absolutely, struck by the sight that here was Mr. Godrej, not demanding anything, not complaining, just stood. And he went like any other passenger. Now, he must have been classified as an important passenger, right? A VIP. Nothing. And the others, ordinary people who are not worth much, were complaining, shouting, making a noise. So that is it. Service mindedness is general attitude of service mindedness. You see a mother struggling with a child, give her your seat or help in some way. That used to be there in our society. In Kolkata. I was told when I first went there in 1980, 81, that they have immense respect for women. And I said, well, it must be like the rest of the country. No, but it was different. And just for the heck of it, there were trams there. So just to experience what a tram was like, I got onto a tram. And as usual, it was jam-packed. The moment I got in, 5 men just shot up from their seats and offered me their seat. This would never happen in Mumbai. This is it. So this is not just a courtesy towards someone. It's a genuine feeling of service-mindedness. You're ready to do things for people. But when it comes to the Guru, here is a person who has given you everything. I mean, like in that movie, To Serve With Love, she sings a song for him and says, how can you thank someone who has taken you from crayons to perfumes? Means he's handheld you through your growth. How can you thank a person like that? How can you thank a Guru who has taken you from the darkness of ignorance to light? But still, we'll try. So what will you do? The only thing the Guru wants is for the knowledge to be spread. At least that you can do. Yesterday I heard a talk by a prominent journalist. I don't want to give her name because it's recorded, but it's positive. And she was speaking of the advantages we have as India. And last thing she said is cultural dividend. She was talking about demographic dividend, she was talking of diversity, all these. And the last is, she said, cultural dividend. Because we are recipients of this culture, this fantastic heritage, which gives us this resilience. Shashi Tharoor today was talking about Punjab. Punjab has been devastated by the floods. Millions of acres of farmland have just gone. And he was paying tribute to the Punjabis. He said, Punjabis have this wonderful resilience and attitude of giving. He said, in and through all this, they made sure that no Punjabi went hungry. Because gurdwaras were open, langars never stopped, food never stopped. And he said, hats off to you people. Punjab are the people who went to war to save the rest of the country. So we sitting here in Mumbai and deeper south, we are sitting smug here because here are people who sacrificed their lives for us. And he said, we must pay a tribute to the Punjabis. So this is it. Cultural dividend, the diversity, the attitude of giving. And it is true, Punjabis have this attitude of giving, therefore they are prosperous. People who don't give, don't receive anything. Anyway, then comes the attributes of a Guru. Jnaninaha Tattvadarshinaha. Jnaninaha means must have experienced the truth. So experience the truth in the absolute sense means must be a realized person. But then there are very few realized people in the world, hardly one in a generation. So in the relative sense, it means at least you should have experienced some of the principles that the Bhagavad Gita is talking about. Like you should have experienced the power of love. What a difference it makes when you reach out to a person with oneness. Or the dividend that you earn through giving. You must become a giver. It's an amazing thing. Even when you don't have, you give. Yeah? First give, then figure out how you're going to make good. And you've benefited so much from this. Should you not feel the need to give? Guru Purnima we have, you know why this is emphasized in our culture? Because if you don't give to a person who's molded your character and just changed your life completely, who will you give to then? I keep telling people, Diwali is sees as a festival where you give gifts, but the heart must give, not the hand. You don't sit there and say, oh God, Diwali is coming, now I have to give. Then don't give, please. Nobody in the world is starving and waiting for you to give. So please don't give, if you don't have the heart. But if you have the heart, then who will you give to? Not people who already have enough and more. Give to the needy. Make sure that every citizen in this city celebrates Diwali, has a reason to celebrate Diwali. Like this Frenchman, what's his name? I keep forgetting the name. He fell in love with Kolkata and the Bengalis. Lapierre. What Lapierre? What did you say? Dominic Lapierre. Dominic Lapierre goes to Kolkata at Diwali time and he is absolutely flabbergasted. He sees the people of Kolkata living in slums who don't have electrical connections, who live in darkness. And he says, they have the guts to celebrate Diwali, a festival of lights, when they don't have light. This is it, friends. Reach out to people who have less than you and give meaningfully. Don't just go and give sweets. And don't go and give stale sweets. You keep it in your home for 5 days, and when it's about to get spoiled or it's already spoiled, then you distribute. And you make them sick. That's not a way of giving. So, attitude of giving. Anyway, Jnaninaha, one who has experienced it, and Tattvadarshina, who has the ability to transmit it. Like when I was a student, I noticed that we had teachers who were brilliant mathematicians, for instance, but they were not good teachers. And then we had people who were excellent teachers. Like we had one professor who used to teach genetics. Oh, I still remember his lectures. But he was not necessarily a master at it. You must have both. You must be immersed in the knowledge and have the capacity to reach out to people. This comes with, again, the attitude of giving. So a teacher must have the attitude of giving, that I want to pass this message on, this knowledge on to people. It's not about my brilliance. It's not about impressing people with your brilliance. It's about actually conveying. And then you get brilliant teachers, whether it is teaching 2 plus 2 to a 5-year-old or teaching complex trigonometry to college students. A good teacher is one who is just a good teacher, who can communicate. It's very well put. 35.
तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः.
Having known which, you shall not get into delusion again, O Pandava, by which you will see all beings in the self and then in me. Beautiful construction. So verses 35, 36 and 37 speak of that the effects of gaining knowledge. 35 with reference to the intellect, 36 with reference to the mind, 37 with reference to vasanas. So here he is talking about with reference to the intellect. You will not again get into delusion. Again, punaha means right now you are in delusion. There is no possibility of delusion in future. Once you gain the knowledge, you can't fall back. It's like this. In the dark, you see a snake and you're terrified. There's a snake there. And your friend laughs at you. He says, what are you talking about snakes here in Mumbai city? And he shows the torch from his phone, and then suddenly you realize it's a rope. And you say, ah. Now once you see the rope, you can't see the snake again. Isn't that true? Once you wake up from a dream, a nightmare, and some psychopath is chasing you, often we dream that, and you're running as fast as you can, and suddenly you trip. Where? In the dream. What happens? You wake up, and there you heave a sigh of relief. There is nobody chasing you, you are comfortably sleeping. Once you wake up, you can't get back into the same dream. You can sleep and dream another dream. So there is no delusion again. Now, what is this delusion? Because we don't even understand delusion. Do you know? Delusion is the most difficult thing to understand when you are deluded. It's like, have you ever tried telling a drunk person that he's drunk? Huh? Don't even try that. Because you'll end up having a fight. The guy says, oh, says I'm drunk. I met a person. Similarly, we are in delusion and we don't know we're in delusion. We don't know where we've come from. We don't know what our mission in life is. What are we doing with ourselves here? We don't know. We don't know where we're going, when we're going, and where we're going. And you living life as if nothing is the matter. If you were serious about your life, you would put everything else on hold until you knew all this, because it's very important to know yourself. It's important to know what your mission in life is. It's important to know how you're going to achieve that mission. You know nothing. And moha is not only in the absolute sense. You don't see things as they are. You see things through the filter of your prejudices. Like you can never see the mother-in-law doing anything good. Can you? Because you have such a strong prejudice. Even after she is gone, think of her, only negativity springs up in your mind. Same thing with, Shakespeare tries to bring out these things. In Romeo and Juliet, the two families are bitter enemies. They're warring with each other. And they cross each other on a bridge, and before you know it, they're fighting, and there are a few people dead. So a judge is appointed, a retired judge, like here also, to get to the bottom of it. So he starts very painstakingly, very conscientiously. Why did you attack? Because he attacked her. So why did you attack? He got down to the bottom of it. Second last person he asks, why did you attack? You know what he says? Because he bit his thumb at me, sir. We say katti, like that. which school children do. And because of that, a few people are lying dead. So the judge is really fed up. He doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Then he asks the last person, did you bite your thumb at him, sir? At him? So you know what the answer is? I, sir, I bit my thumb, sir, but not at him, sir. And all the deaths have taken place because of this one misunderstanding. And why did that misunderstanding come about? Suppose his son had bitten his thumb, he wouldn't have reacted. Why did he react? Because of this moha, the preconceived notion. He's an enemy, I hate him. And so also, all of us are suffering. We are fighting. We are not, thankfully, not killing each other. But we are fighting. Fighting for what? My right. My share of the property. I'm being shortchanged. And I hear these stories all the time. And for that, you're willing to give up a valuable relationship. This is moha, friends. You're caught up with the world, with wealth, power, fame, fancy cars, clothes, shopping, jewelry, this, that and the other. And you're so entangled in it that you can't think of anything beyond. The deluge is what mauls you. You know, it's like one tree, 10 trees, 25 trees, they look very nice. You know what the difference between a garden and a forest is? Thousands of trees, broad daylight, the sunlight doesn't go through because it's that densely forested. You know what happens? How do you feel? Scared. Why? Wild elephant might come. A lion, tiger might come. Have you seen a tiger forget tiger, elephant in the wild? In Coorg, when we had gone there, we were a group of ladies, decided to go for a walk at 7:30 in the morning. We had barely left the place where we were staying, and we heard an elephant trumpeting. If you hear an elephant in the wild trumpet, a chill will go down your spine. And you know, the next thing we did, all 5 of us ran back. Why? Because it was in the forest. You see the same elephant here trumpeting, you won't be scared. So that fear comes. That is it. You get mauled by the millions of thoughts in your mind, which don't let you sleep in peace, which keep you stressed all the time, in overdrive. That is the moha. So he says, once the moha goes, having known what? Atman. All this will disappear, by which you will see all beings in the self. Then you see this unity. You see everyone as yourself. And then in me means, then you get to see the first sentence is Savikalpa Samadhi, means you're seeing all beings. You're seeing them as God, but you're still seeing them. And then comes Nirvikalpa Samadhi, is complete union. There are no beings, there is no you, there is only that one mass of consciousness. It's so beautifully put in. It sounds like an innocuous statement, but there is a difference between the two. Next. So it's like, what do you mean by seeing all beings in yourself. You know? You see separateness, right? You see your driver is separate from you. Thank God for that. You see guy on the road separate from you. You see everybody as separate. How can you see them as yourself? So let's take a story. In a state there was a prince, and the role of a king is to enter his darbar. That was his job every morning. But before he entered the darbar, the court, he used to enter a room that was full of mirrors everywhere. No walls, just mirrors. And take a quick look at himself from different angles and leave and enter the darbar. And after his whatever work was there was over, he would come back to the mirror room and then go to his home. And that room would be locked. The only person who had access to that room is the prince. One day, his servant forgot to lock the room. And his pet dog, the only dog in the palace, entered the mirror room. And now, the dog looks at the mirror and sees another dog. And he's scared because he says, I am the only royal pet here. How can another dog come? So he sees separateness. And that makes him feel insecure, afraid. Looks at all the mirrors and he sees so many competitors, all enemies. So what does he do? He growls at them. When you growl in the mirror, what happens? They all growl back at him. Then he snarled at them, they snarled back. He barked at them, they barked back, and he says, how dare they bark at me? I am the royal dog. And they attacked. And by the time the prince came back, that poor dog was lying in a pool of blood, dead. Now, what is the difference between the dog and the prince? Knowledge that? What knowledge? What knowledge did the prince have that the dog did not have? You know? Correct. You know, you must have clarity of thought, which is why every student must learn mathematics. Now, in school, they are given the option of dropping mathematics, which means as it is, the thinking is gone. No chance thereafter. Anyway, so what is the knowledge that the prince had? When he looked in the mirror, what did he see? Himself. And that made a big difference, because the more images he saw, the more he admired himself in the images. Right? He felt no competitiveness. Whereas the dog was denied the knowledge that what he was seeing there was a reflection of himself. Similarly, now we are living the life of a dog. So the Bhagavad Gita tells us, don't live like a dog, live like a human being, man. When you see others, what must you see? Reflections of myself. Instead, what do we see? Otherness. You see a separateness. And then you do what the dog does. You snarl at somebody, growl at somebody else, attack someone else. And in the end, what happens? You die. You suffer. So this is the clue. Like without this story, We wouldn't understand. See all beings in yourself. Yeah, it's very nice to hear. Move, next verse. What is the call to action for us? When you see others, you must see a oneness. Like we see, it, and the advantages are fantastic. Do you know that 60% of hotels in the United States are owned and run by Indians and Gujaratis? You know how it all started? Almost 200 years back, there was a man called Desai. I'm sure you don't know this story. Mr. Desai went to the United States from the Caribbean, and he met an American who said, come help me run my hotel. So he took him on as a partner. So this man, Mr. Desai, learnt all the ropes, and he was a good manager. Then the American had to go travel somewhere else, and in those days there were no flights. So he was gone for a few months. He told this man, Mr. Desai, to look after his hotel. Now he really knew how to run the hotel. So when the American came back, he said, I'll start my own. So he started. And then he realized that there is tremendous potential in this business. So you know what he did? He sent word to India and got a whole lot of Patels and Shahs from India to the United States. And he looked after them, he provided hospitality, looked after them in his own home. And it must have been a problem because simple thing like getting vegetarian food is so difficult, was so difficult then. So he got hordes of Patels and Shahs and helped them set up their own hotels. And that is how 60%, now then they went up the chain from motels, now they are running Hiltons and other hotels. You know what this story is about? Oneness. He didn't do what the Indians now in the US are doing. They are saying, we don't want you guys to come on H-1B visas. They don't want more Indians to come because they consider themselves Americans. We want jobs, we don't want you guys to come. They should follow Mr. Desai's example. He didn't feel separateness. He felt a oneness with them, and this is how they are controlling 60%. It's not a joke. Anywhere you go, any hotel you go to, other than the top of the line ones, ask who's the owner? Indian. So that's what it is. 36.
अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि.
Even if you're the most sinful among sinners, you will indeed cross over all sin only by the boat of knowledge. So this verse is with reference to the mind. Result with reference to the mind. Sin means mental agitation. When you perform an action and it boomerangs back on you as mental agitation, then you are committing a sin. So most sinful sinner can also reach realization. This is an extremely positive verse which says that never mind where you are, start moving in the right direction, you will get to realization. So it's like the most agitated dreamer can also become a waker. Can cross over all sin means you can eradicate all desires. So this metaphor of the boat is very popular in the scriptures because it fits in perfectly. A boat takes you from one shore to the other. The boat is your the scriptural knowledge takes you from the shore of mortality to the shore of immortality, and throughout the journey it protects you from the lashings of the waves. So the spiritual knowledge stands by you even when you are in the world, you haven't yet reached the state of realization. The waves and the storms are created by desires. The greater the desires you have, the greater the storms you have to face in life, challenges of life. The captain of the boat, you need a captain. Captain of the ship is your intellect. The captain consults the compass. The compass is unique because it does only one thing. What does it do? Points north. Once you know what north is, you know all directions. So the captain consults the compass and he now steers. He's an expert at navigating the waves and the storms and takes you to the harbor of peace, and you cross over to the shore of immortality. So the captain is your intellect, the compass is your conscience. Like the mariner's compass, your conscience or subtle intellect always points to the spiritual north, to the higher, to Atman, to that which is right. Nobody's conscience tells you to do wrong things, but you must follow your conscience. And a conscience that is overpowered by desires is weak, the signals are weak. A conscience that is allowed to express itself very definitely tells you what is right and wrong. That's the only difference. So to the extent you have knowledge, you're free from agitation. You're free from dependence on the world and on other people's opinions, like things like clothes. Why must you have validation from other people? You wear what is comfortable, you wear what you think is good, that's fine. Then also the standard of success. Different people have different standards of success. In a company, you talk to a worker in a factory. What is his goal? He just wants to be supervisor. You talk to the supervisor, he wants to be the manager. Like that, we think only one step ahead. Hats off to a worker in a factory who says, someday I'm going to be chairman of the company. And if he has that vision, he'll get there. So similarly, we must have that vision. Never mind whether you reach it or not. At least you must have the vision. Of what? Gaining freedom. Moving away from this existence which is sorrowful, and get to that state of happiness which you are heir to. Once you have that goal, if you work towards it, it doesn't matter even if you don't reach. Someday you will reach. Maybe not this life, next life, 45th life, but at least you will reach. The way you're going, you won't reach anywhere. So, and the only other choice is you drown in this samsara of likes and dislikes, of prejudices, of loves and hates. For how long are you going to go through this? So that vision. Next, 37.
यथैधांसि समिद्धोऽग्निः भस्मसात् कुरुतेऽर्जुन ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा.
Just as enkindled fire reduces fuel to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge convert all actions to ashes. So this verse is with reference to vasanas. Vasanas means ignorance. All ignorance is destroyed by knowledge. That's why knowledge is so powerful. So there are two stages. One is you char fuel, like seeds are roasted, then they no longer have the capacity, power to germinate. So that's the first step. The second step is complete, reduced to ashes. So with higher values, as you cultivate higher values, your desires lose the capacity to germinate because you have the knowledge, you understand the futility of running after worldly things. You know, and that is enough. That gives you, it's like a roasted seed. It gives you that freedom to breathe properly, to live your life the way you want to live. And then they get completely burnt means when you get to realization. So it's that vision is what is important. Next.
Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramih vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati.
Verily, there is nothing as purifying as wisdom. One who is well perfected in yoga finds it in the self in course of time. So, we are in the last topic of this chapter, therefore gain wisdom. So, see, everyone is ashuddha. Ashuddha, impure, means everyone has desires. Everyone is agitated. As you gain knowledge, the lower desires drop and your mind is calm. So again there are two stages. One is Atma Shuddhi and Loka Sangraha. So prior to realization, your goal is to purify yourself. Once you reach realization, you are still living, right? How will you live? For what? For Loka Sangraha, for the well-being of the world. That's all there is. There are no selfish desires. So that constant effort is by the three yogas. Yogas are karma yoga, means being service minded, we spoke of that. Second, removing the dislikes that you have, removing this irritation. You know, when you, even with a person you love, there are certain things that irritate you about the person. That is what needs to go. You know why? Because you never get irritated with yourself. If you view yourself objectively, you also have faults, right? But when you live those faults, you never get irritated with yourself. Why? Because it's you. But when you embrace somebody else as you, even that person's faults will not irritate you. That's the beauty of love. And the third is knowledge. When you understand that everything in the world is passing, ephemeral, impermanent, then you don't give it value. Don't sell your soul to things that are going to leave. Once you follow these three, you get that freedom from desires. And where will you find it? In yourself. When? Is very diplomatic. In course of time. Why does he say in course of time? It depends on two factors. What is your present level and how much effort are you putting in? It's like saying, I have the formula for you to become a billionaire. And you ask me, how long will it take? It depends on what your assets are now and how much effort you put in. Next.
Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara sanyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena adhigacchati.
one who is endowed with Shraddha, faith, who is devoted, who has controlled the senses, obtains knowledge. Having obtained knowledge, such a one soon attains supreme peace. So again he is talking about a person who is well on his way to enlightenment. So how to gain the knowledge? Subdue the senses, sense control. You know, even if you want to achieve material success, you can't achieve it if you are indulgent. Every day you are partying, you can't achieve. See, everyone sees money and prosperity in the United States. You don't see what price they pay. What price are they paying? Monday to Friday, they go home 6:30, they have dinner, and they watch a little TV or something, and they're off to bed. 5:30 in the morning, they leave for work. You know any Indian here who leaves for work at 5:30? There's a traffic jam at 5:30 in the morning in Los Angeles. And they work through the day. Now the latest is that 996 culture. You know what that is? You work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. Employers expect that employees are willing to work. I'm not saying you should work badly. I'm just saying this is the price you have to pay for success. So nothing comes easily. And for that, you can't be drinking till 4 a.m. You can't be going out for dinner and come home at 1 and 2 in the morning and wake up at 5:30. The amount of alcohol consumption in India is shocking. Nobody drinks like that in the United States or in any Western country. So, sense control, first step to gaining knowledge. Second, devotion. Tat paraha, devotion means you give in your mind, that is supreme. It's like Hanuman, after the entire war was won and Ravana was killed, they had a celebration and they were honoring all the people who played a stellar role, and Hanuman did play a stellar role. So they gave him a necklace of precious gems, diamonds, rubies, so on and so forth. He took it out, put it to his ear. It did not say Ram, he threw it. He had no value for anything other than Ram. That is devotion. And here we are willing to let go of Ram for 500 rupees. So this is the thing. What value do you have for spiritual knowledge, for the goal? I mean, if you look at our country and our culture, Rama and Krishna have been the main role models for our country for generations. Even today, the amount of the response you get by just mentioning Bhagavad Gita is amazing throughout the country. Why? Because Krishna gave the knowledge. Rama, throughout the country. So these are the unifying factors. And to that we must surrender, that I don't know how to explain that surrender. That is everything to you. Like a mother to a mother, the child is everything. In that sense. Then Shraddha. Shraddha is to fix the goal of realization and to keep on working towards it, not give up till you reach it, to pour all your efforts towards it. Then achirena, soon you will get it. Again, soon means what? You could get it tomorrow. if you put in that effort. Or it may take you a few janmas, but you will get there. Next, 40.
आज्ञश्च श्रद्दधानश्च संशयात्मा विनश्यति नायं लोकोऽस्ति न परः न सुखं संशयात्मनः.
Now he's talking about the other extreme. Ignorant, devoid of Shraddha, faith, the doubting self is destroyed. In no uncertain terms he's saying that. The doubting self has neither this world nor the next nor happiness. So you don't benefit in the immediate present, there is no future for you, and after death also there is nothing. And why does it happen? Because you're devoid of Shraddha. Shraddha is not just blind faith. It's not blind faith. Is the ability in you. So, okay, Joe Goldsmith defined faith as belief in a thing you don't know until you come to know what you believe in. Rabindranath Tagore says, faith is like the bird that sings while the dawn is still dark. It is an amazing thing. You know, if you wake up early enough, you wake up at 4 o'clock, it's absolutely still. Then a stage comes where it's still dark outside, but the birds start chirping. So that's what Tagore is saying. It's like the bird that feels the light. It is sure that dawn is approaching. And it says, it heralds dawn. So we are in ignorance, right? We are in the darkness. But something in us tells us there's got to be light at the end of the tunnel. There has to be some redemption for us. And you pursue with it. The doubting self has neither this world, nor this world means the present, nor the future, nor do you get anything after death. Not just people. You doubt that there is a state of enlightenment. You doubt that there is a way to happiness. You doubt that you will get out of your misery. Everything you're doubting. So, verse 39 says how to gain knowledge. Verse 40 says, if you don't follow this prescription, the 3 yogas, you will be destroyed. 41 says, if you follow it, actions don't bind you. And 42 says, tasmat, therefore follow the advice. Okay? Next verse.
योगसन्न्यस्तकर्माणं ज्ञानसञ्छिन्नसंशयम् आत्मवन्तं न कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय.
Actions do not bind one who has renounced actions through yoga, whose doubts are torn apart by knowledge, who is poised in the self, O Dhananjaya, winner of wealth. So, in the relative, to the extent you gain knowledge, you become free from mental agitation and stress and bondage. In the absolute sense, once you move to the 4th plane of consciousness, you automatically, everything goes away, you are in total freedom. Then he says, renounce action by yoga. Means you don't renounce the action. What do you renounce? The desire that promotes the action and the anxiety for the fruit. Then why will you act? Because without desire, there is no action. Why do you act? For 2 reasons. One, you want to get to the state of realization. And as long as you are alive, you must act. So what will you do? Whatever you have to do, obligatory action. and the second is for loka sangraha, for the well-being of people. So once you gain clarity, all doubts go. You know clearly. See, like the law of karma. Why are people afraid? I don't know what will happen to me. Now Trump has imposed tariffs. What will happen to me? He is playing around with the whole world. And you're worried about what will happen to me. So it's that confidence comes when you have faith in the law of karma, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Okay? So to the extent I have done wrong in the past, I've been selfish and been unfair to people or whatever, to that extent the result will come. I will go through negative experiences. But then because you've understood the law, you're prepared for it. You have the strength to bear with it. But you're making an effort to put in powerful, positive actions. So you are assured in your mind that nothing bad will happen. And if it happens, because of my past karma, I have that strength to bear with it. Right? So you go through life fearlessly. Otherwise, what a life you're leading, constantly afraid what will happen to me. Suppose I get cancer, suppose I get COVID, suppose I get this, suppose I get that. Because in that you go through the suffering irrespective. Even if you don't get it, you still suffered, you might as well have got it. So that's the thing. One of the advantages of spiritual life is you become totally self-confident and fearless. So all doubts go, there are no grey areas, and you're poised in Atmavanta means you're poised in the self, you remain in the self. Your thoughts revolve around the higher all the time. It's a wonderful state to be in. Next verse, last verse.
तस्मादज्ञानसम्भूतं हृत्स्थं ज्ञानासीनात्मनः छित्त्वैनं संशयं योगम् आतिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ भारत.
Therefore, having cut this ignorance born doubt of the self dwelling in your heart with the sword of knowledge, be established in yoga. Arise, O Bharata, descendant of Bharata. So this is the culmination, the final verse, and he's talking to Arjuna, a warrior who has given up, who's laid down his bow and arrow and said, I will not fight. So he's using this language for Arjuna, Uttishta Bharata. Uttishta means get up and fight. You can't go to a 92-year-old grandfather and say, Uttishta grandfather. He doesn't understand this language. So you have to understand the context in which he's saying all this. But in a way, he's telling us all to wake up from our ignorance, wake up from the sloth, intellectual sloth that we have fallen into. We don't want to do anything. It's like, chalega, hoga, aayenge, karenge. You know this, you hear this all the time. It's tamas of the highest order. That I am content in the sloth, like a pig's contentment. I'm content in the rubbish that I'm in. See, everything must prod you to activity. Like this evening when we were coming, everything was spick and span. No traffic, smooth sailing, within 10 minutes we were here. You know why? Yes. The British Prime Minister our Prime Minister, both were coming. So everything was speaking. Why can't it be like this every day? Why is it so difficult? Just to be clean. You know why? Not because the BMC is not doing its job. Because you and me, all of us, are happily throwing stuff out of the window onto the streets. So that awareness must be there, that I mustn't just chuck things out, that I mustn't dirty the place. You go, all of you travel, right? You go to Western countries, you go to Australia, you go here, there, even African countries. No country in the world is as filthy as ours. Has such chaotic traffic as ours. And honking everywhere. So we all have to have soundproof homes because there's too much noise. There's noise pollution, there's air pollution, there's all kinds of pollution. So that wake up means not just to Atman, wake up to the realities of life. Do something. At least start cleaning up your society, the building in which you're living. So, he's saying all actions end in wisdom. Therefore, having cut this ignorance, dwelling in the heart, with the sword of knowledge. So with knowledge you must demolish this edifice of ignorance that we have built within ourselves. It's not difficult, just a little knowledge. It's like a pack of cards just falls apart when you disturb even one. It's like that. This whole edifice of ignorance falls apart with a little bit of knowledge. People because there's been a huge response to our scheme, the Diwali offer. We've decided to extend it to the 31st because right now people have been busy with Diwali, with meeting relatives, with all the activity, and have not had the time to focus on these things. Some. And I've asked for it to be extended. So we've extended it up to 31st October. But please help yourself to it. Please do a little bit of seva and help spread this knowledge to others. Thank you.
ॐ तत्सद् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासूपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे ज्ञानकर्मसन्न्यासयोगो नाम चतुर्थोऽध्यायः।